Welcome to Legal and Lucrative, an interview series from CFO Accounting Services. In each episode, we sit down with attorneys to talk about the real side of running and growing a law practice. The people, the challenges, and the decisions that don't always show up on a balance sheet. We'll explore leadership, balance, and the financial realities of firm ownership, and share practical insights to help attorneys build practices that are both successful and sustainable.
Thank you for joining me today. What inspired you to start your own law practice or take a leap into leadership?
For a long time, I worked under another attorney. And so after after that practice kind of wound down, I decided that I want more freedom for myself, to have more free time so that I can control what I do when I do it.
What has surprised you most about running your own firm?
I guess how long it took for me to find a sufficient amount of clients to sustain myself.
That's very fair. Now, how do you balance being both an attorney and a business owner?
Yeah, this is a difficult question because, as you probably know, in law school, they don't teach us how to become managers of law firms.
Yeah.
So I knew a lot about law, but I didn't know much about running the business or running like the books. So I kind of dedicate some sporadic time, I guess, to learning what I need about running the business, but it's mostly kind of a flow, I would say. I have a paralegal now, so I had to learn how to be an employer as well. But it's got all kind of, I don't have a structured system, I guess. It's more like I found a good accounting program, which also runs my payroll. So they kind of do everything.
All right. When you think about growth, what is your main focus right now? Like more clients, stronger profits, a better team, or something else altogether?
I think at this point, it's kind of, I'm trying to strike a balance between my capacity as an attorney and getting more clients, because I realize in order to get an associate, for instance, like a licensed attorney, I have to offer a compatible salary, which means I have to have enough on the books to kind of, for a cushion, like for a year, maybe for a year's salary. But for that, I have to get more clients now, and I do immigration. So
Oh,
it has been very stressful in the last year. So I'm trying to not to kind of burn out at this point. But I'm thinking, like, my thought process is that I need to get more clients in order to have a cushion for hiring an associate.
now, in regards to your business, how do you make important business decisions? Do you rely on data? Do you just kind of go with your intuition, or do you go off advice from others?
To be honest, I don't rely on data. I go more with intuition, or how, like, for instance, hiring a paralegal. I kind of got stuck a little bit because I was getting too many phone calls, and I couldn't deal with kind of dealing with potential clients while I have to also deal with actual clients. So at that point, I felt like there was sufficient amount of like pressure for me to hire somebody. And then while I was thinking about it, a girl wrote to me and said, "Oh, I'm looking for a job." So I said, "Oh, now it's a good time," since it's kind of a nice coincidence. When I was thinking about hiring somebody, she appeared. So that sort of kind of, it works mostly.
Gotcha. Now, looking back, what is one thing that you wish you understood about the business side of running a firm earlier than maybe when you learned it?
I think, I'm not sure, but I think that a lot of, especially immigration attorneys, feel some emotion for their clients. And so I know me and other attorneys kind of felt that it's our position to help people more so than running the business. And for a long time, I was very I don't know, conservative with my fees, because I was under the
Mm.
impression that I have to kind of make my fees more affordable for people to work with me. But then after a while, I realized that it's kind of a way to burn out, because it means that I have to have more clients, more pressure, more stress, and less money. So now I take very good clients who pay, well, I charge more, obviously,
Mhm.
but I can do much better job because I can concentrate on less clients, but more complicated cases. So
Right.
I would say that a person should be charging more as opposed to less.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
Mhm.
Okay, looking ahead, last question. What would it take for you to feel fully confident about your firm's financial future and growth potential?
I think having some sort of a really well set up system, both like case management system, responding to phone calls, so very motivated employees, just kind of having a really good procedure set up for making sure that none of the potential clients fall through the cracks. Because if you are a solo practitioner or you don't have a lot of resources, I think major problem is people falling through the cracks because just don't have enough capacity to answer everybody, especially
Mm.
in like a hot area like immigration now.
Thanks,
Bye
Julie.
bye. Mhm.
Bye.
Thanks for joining us for this episode of Legal and Lucrative. A big thank you to our guest for such an honest and insightful conversation. For free tools and resources to help improve cash flow and profitability, head over to www.cfoaccountingservices.com. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss future episodes. We'll see you next time.